We're at it again in the same borrowed car in a parking lot. And I say again because I already shot one video for you once, and I thought that will be something that I'll release in Feb, without realizing that by the time I edit and make something out of it, it'll almost feel too morbid to release it, especially in the month of love. So here we are, we're going to talk about love. And before you say that what makes you the authority on love, because apparently you have a failed relationship, best believe when I say failures are your biggest teachers. Even success does not teach you the same lessons. So here we are, and yeah, let's begin, because time is always a crunch. Okay, so I had notes, but this is what I could come up with in the short span of time I had. Like, when I was processing my relationship, I realized that I did not have a solid list of what I wanted the relationship to look like, or what I expected my partner to be. I was very open-minded. It was very open-ended. I think that was a cornerstone of the failure that my past relationship is. And I say this because love is something gray, and I believe that love is something gray. You can't have a binary relationship with somebody, especially if you claim to love them. But I've come to realize through a lot of retrospect and through a lot of figuring out that you have to begin, like, you have to have a very binary beginning, a very black and white beginning, for you to be able to move through grays or embrace the grays of the relationship, because every relationship comes with like certain gray areas. So today we're going to talk about the three threes, which is apparently something that everybody is discussing, and I will probably discuss my three of threes and see where it goes. Okay, so to sum it up, what are three of threes? So three of threes is, you imagine your person. My imaginary person is called Juno, because Juno is the asteroid that denotes love in your astrological chart. So I call him Juno. If I have to describe Juno in a black and white situation, the three categories that he will be divided into is personality, character, and physical attributes. And then all these three categories have three non-negotiables, and I have my reasons for having these non-negotiables. It might seem very surgical. The process might seem very surgical, because it seemed very surgical to me, at least. But I have somehow moved through that initial resistance that I had and come up with this list. So personality, why I discuss personality is because personality is something that will be necessary for that initial attraction. As much as we say that initial attraction is a phase that will pass on like in 18 months, which is true, but then for me to be able to want to get to know somebody on a deeper level, that initial attraction is important, which is why these three traits are crucial for his personality. Juno's personality, whosoever Juno is. Okay, he needs to be mindful. I'll elaborate on them. So one is mindful, transparent, and I don't know what to call it, so let's call it flexible, adaptable, growth mindset. Pick whatever you want to pick. I say mindful and I don't say romantic, because I'm very sly that ways. Because I realize that a person needs to be very mindful to be able to be romantic. Like, being romantic is being able to do certain gestures for your partner so that they feel special, right? So anybody who's mindful, even when they're mindful in a romantic relationship, comes off as romantic. So whatever he does, like in a mindful manner, will seem romantic to me, is what I have convinced myself. I don't know how. I'll keep you updated when that happens, but then for now, transparent, because I am too old to play mind games, to think of the right questions to ask. Because 1 year ago is when I realized that there is a difference between being honest and being transparent. So when somebody is being transparent, they volunteer information. But when somebody is being honest, you need to know the right questions to ask. And I'm too old to play these push and pull games, to think about asking the right questions and ensuring that he is not offended with the questions that I have asked. Because when you ask somebody a question, it is pokey, like intrusive, right? And my sample space is very small, because friends, family, but all the men in my life, father, brothers, cousins, friends, even everybody, I have realized, feels as if a woman is encroaching their boundary when she's asking questions. And I've also realized men who don't feel this ways are the men who are transparent in their relationships. They volunteer information that their female partners, or partners in general, in few cases, don't need to worry about what questions to ask. So I don't want to worry about what questions to ask, hence transparent. And I think this stems from being mindful, because somebody who is mindful will understand the difference between being transparent and being honest, and they will choose to be transparent because they will not want to invest their energy, which is precious, by the way, into playing mind games, rather than investing that same energy into the relationship, which I want to do. I rest my case. And the third thing is flexible, adaptable. So I say this because when you're not adaptable, you are set in your ways. When you are set in your ways, you keep looking backward. You don't look forward. And for you to be able to reach somewhere, you need to be able to look forward. There are only few times in life where looking backward is necessary. Like maybe you made a mistake and you want to look backward once and see, okay, this is the lesson that has come from it, and then move forward with that lesson. So personally, I wouldn't want Juno be that sort of an individual who is holding on to things that he has achieved in his past while not doing anything right now or working towards anything in the future. And I don't even mean that he needs to be building a 6-figure, 7-figure business. I mean that in general, he needs to be able to think that, oh, I am turning 40. Like, I don't know how old he'll be, but I'm turning 40. I need to be focusing on my health, on my diet, etc. And not be like that. I was 23 and I had abs. What do I do with your abs? Like, I had no access to your abs, so I'm not doing anything with your abs. So that's that. So that is the general personality and my reasonings to like why I will be attracted towards the things that are there in his personality. And these things are, I'm hoping in a date or two, I'll be able to figure it out. Okay. Coming to the second category, which is character. So your character is something that comprises of your values on the day-to-day. So the three things that I would want in Juno's character is humble, no addiction, devoted, family man, one of those synonyms. Why? So I say humble because only 1 year ago I realized that the society's definition of humble is not the actual definition of humble. One, you need to have something to be humble about. Let's take the most superficial example. Let's say you have certain looks. If you're humble about your looks, you need to first have looks. If you're humble about the money that you have, you need to have money to be humble about your money. You can't be humble about your money when you don't have any. You follow. So I want him to be humble because I would assume that he has a life. He has created a life that he is proud of, but then does not rub his achievements on everybody's face. Hence, humble. When I say no addiction, because autoimmune, thankfully, because of autoimmune, I don't smoke, I don't drink. I personally have no problems with people drinking. People can drink as long as you're not an alcoholic. But that figuring out if you're an alcoholic or you're not an alcoholic or if it's a one-time thing is something that will happen when I spend some time with you. So no addictions, especially no smoking, because your girl is allergic and I don't do well in that situation. So I have a medical reason for having this criteria. My dad used to smoke, but then when this allergy was found out, he quit cold turkey. My maternal grandfather used to smoke, so he could quit cold turkey. And I'm not saying that you have to quit cold turkey. I'm saying that my man will be mindful enough to know that this is causing harm to his health and he will do it on his own. Because I had when I stepped into my past relationship, I used to think that if I love him right, if I love him enough, if I give him enough reasons to love me, he will choose me over cigarettes. Yes, very pathetic, true, I know. But that was what I thought. Did that happen? No. Did he start to smoke more frequently? Yes. Did he choose smoking and hanging out people who would encourage his smoking? Also true. So that doesn't happen. If he is not going to have any addictions, he's not going to have any addictions for himself. Like, I have a certain lifestyle for myself. I'm not doing this for a man. I am not living gluten-free for a man. I'm doing it for myself. Similarly, he will do it for himself. He'll not do it for me. I'll just get the privileges. Sly. Anyways, when I say devoted to this idea of having a family, first of all, understanding, maybe I should call it family man. I don't know. Maybe I should find like a proper heading, but time crunch. So a man wanting a family before he has met you, and understanding that what it means to have a family before meeting you is crucial. This goes for a girl as well. There are certain responsibility expectations that come with wanting a long-term partner. With marriage, people need to understand that before they commit to a certain person, because otherwise it feels as if one person convinced the other person to get into a relationship. Happened to me. So I'm speaking from experience, that he was very vocal about not wanting to get married, but he got married because I was the person. And it felt like praise in the moment. So he used to say that I wouldn't have gotten married. It's you, that is why I'm getting married. But what I did not realize at that point in time was that he has this image of this perfect girl in his mind. And the moment I show my flaws, he will have a knee-jerk reaction where he will want to pull from the relationship. I should have had the understanding, did not have that understanding at that point. Now I do. Which is why I say that your partner needs to be willing, ready, before they meet you, not because they met you. Does that make sense? But for now, so the physical aspects of this man need to be that he needs to be taller than me. For perspective, I am 5'7.5", so I'm 173 centimeters, 173, 174, somewhere around that. So let's run with 173. He needs to be clean shaven because psoriasis, sensitive skin, I tend to get rashes, so that's also on me. And I don't feel physically attracted towards men with chicken legs, like 6 eyes is something that I feel physically. Why did we discuss the physical in the last? Because let's say I find a man who has the personality traits that I want, the character traits that I want, but say suppose because I'm 5'7", he's 5'8", will I let him go? No, I'm okay with compromising on the physical aspects of Juno, my man. Would I want to compromise on the character, on the personality? I don't think so. I mean, not happening. There's also a reason why we discuss that in the same order, because to be with somebody, you need that initial attraction. That's the truth of the matter. Then once you are initially attracted towards them, you get to know them a little better. You get to know their character, which is built by the values that the other person has. So for instance, downtime for me will look different than somebody else. You will hardly see me willing myself to go clubbing unless and until it's an occasion, a friend's birthday or something needs to happen for me to want to go clubbing. I'd rather go to a museum or an art gallery, a coffee shop, try something new, fun. I don't know, like just meet a friend. That's how I would prefer to spend my day. Does that mean that I don't have the energy? I will never go out clubbing? No, that means that my preference is not that, because it's not my vibe. So if I meet a man who wants to go clubbing every Saturday, every other day, we are not a good match from the get-go. My friend has a list. Maybe in the next one we will discuss that list of the things that she has, like a 14-15 pointer list, wherein she thinks that those things are very important for her to ask the person before they actually commit to each other. And this is to ensure that they'll be able to come out of the fight stronger, because fights will happen. It's Jay Shetty who has said this, that the point is not that you don't have any fights. The point is that when you fight, do you come out 1 point stronger or 1 point weaker? Because if you come out 1 point weaker, your fights are just corroding your relationship. But when you come out stronger, your fights are strengthening your relationship. So maybe think about what sort of a partner you want. And if you already have a partner, maybe you can figure out if you have figured out a relationship in the first time, unlike me. Yeah, we don't judge, we grow and we learn. So yeah, that'll be all. Catch you soon and love you to Pluto and back.